Initializing humor.
The week was a wreck, the coffee is cold, but we've got the stories that need to be told. It's the Friday download. Let the weekend begin.
Hello. This is JR, and this is the Friday download on this 27th of February, 2026. Your weekly reality check that the future is not coming. It's already in beta. Let me ask you something. At what point did we collectively decide it was normal for machines to walk, feel balance, negotiate brand details, and quietly reshape global regulatory frameworks? Because this week, robots got more aware of their bodies, governments tightened their grip on AI transparency, and your personal devices got closer to running intelligence that used to require industrial scale infrastructures. This isn't incremental anymore. This is architectural. An architect sure changes everything. So grab your coffee or something stronger, and let's talk about what's really happening. We need to start with robots, not chatbots, robots. Humanoid robotics teams, including research collaborations coming out of places like MIT and European robotics labs, are refining systems that give machines something called proprioception. Proprioception is your body's internal GPS. It's how you know where your arm is without looking at it. It's how you walk downstairs without calculating angles like a geometry textbook. It's how you don't fall over every time you pivot. And now robots are gaining early versions of that capability. Through neural policies trained in simulation and transferred into physical hardware, these systems are learning to adjust posture dynamically, compensate for imbalance, and correct mid-motion errors. So what does this mean in plain English? They're getting to be less clumsy. And that might sound harmless until you realize how much of intelligence is rooted in physical interaction. For the past few years, we've been mesmerized by language models, text generation, image generation, voice cloning. But embodied intelligence changes the equation. It acts, it lifts, it navigates, it enters environments that were once exclusively human. Warehouses, hospitals, construction sites, elder care facilities. Here's the uncomfortable question. Are we psychologically prepared for intelligence that moves around us instead of just appearing on our screens? Because we're getting very close to that specific moment, and society tends to underestimate slow physical shifts until they're, well, not slow anymore. So, zoom out. Regulation. The EU AI Act is no longer theoretical. Compliance timelines are real. Oversight mechanisms are forming. Regulators are asking companies for documentation, risk assessments, and training transparency disclosures. In other words, show us how this works. That's significant because for the first time, large-scale AI systems are being required to formally articulate their risk management processes under structured law. Not blog posts, not press statements, not vague commitments. We're talking paperwork, audits, accountability. And here's the tension. AI innovation has thrived on velocity. Regulation introduces friction. Friction slows things down, which frustrates markets. But friction also prevents systems from spiraling unchecked. The real story here isn't AI is being regulated. It's this. We are witnessing the first real negotiation between exponential technology and institutional governance. And that negotiation will shape the next decade and beyond. Because standards rarely stay local. Global companies adapt once, and those adaptations ripple. If Europe enforces transparency standards are successful, they influence worldwide deployment practices. So, when you hear about compliance frameworks, don't tune out. That's infrastructure forming. Now, let's talk about something that feels almost absurd. An AI-powered virtual influencer publicly pivoted away from a brand partnership after detecting negative audience sentiment trends. That's right. A synthetic persona analyzed engagement data, determined a reputational shift, and adjusted its affiliation accordingly. No PR meeting, no crisis call, no human delays, just algorithmic recalibration. That's not just marketing automation, that's autonomous reputation management. And here's why it matters. We're building a system that monitors public emotions continuously. Now, imagine those systems applied to politics, consumer behavior, public trust metrics, social narratives. If AI can adapt faster than human institutions, institutions will feel pressure to respond at algorithmic speeds. And humans do not make good decisions at algorithmic speeds. So, while this story sounds humorous on the surface, it hints at something different. We are entering a feedback loop era, and feedback loops can amplify stability or instability. Okay, let's calibrate a little bit differently now, because not everything this week felt destabilizing. Some of it felt empowering. Major semiconductor companies unveiled AI optimized processors specifically designed for local inference, meaning models running on your device rather than in the cloud. You know, that thing we talk about, but no one's ever seen. That's huge because centralized AI equals centralized control. Local AI equals distributed capability. When models run on device, your data doesn't automatically travel to remote servers. Latency drops drastically. Energy usage can be optimized. Dependency on hyperscale providers shifts. This is a quiet revolution. If compute becomes personal again, we decentralize intelligence. And decentralization historically reshapes power dynamics. We've all seen this before in publishing, in media, in communication. AI is maybe next. Let's look at healthcare. Also showed something positive. Multimodal AI models. These are systems that integrate imaging data, lab results, and patient records that are demonstrating improved early detection patterns in research settings. It's not flash, it's not viral, but meaningful. This is AI performing large scale pattern recognition in ways humans simply cannot replicate. And here's the important nuance: this is augmentation, not replacement. Doctors still diagnose, but AI can surface anomalies earlier. However, once AI consistently outperforms humans in early detection metrics, new questions begin to emerge. Who is responsible if an AI flags something and a human dismisses it? Who is accountable if the model misses something the human doesn't? We are entering a shared decision era, and shared decision making requires shared literacy. So, education is quietly making progress as well. AI tools assisting with differentiated instruction planning are shown to reduce teacher prep time significantly in some pilot districts. We're not replacing educators. No. No grading essays in secret, just adapting materials to different reading levels in minutes instead of hours. That's not dystopian, that's operational relief. And if we want AI adoption to succeed in society, it needs to solve real human bottlenecks. Get rid of burnout, data overload, administrative drag. When AI works quietly in the background to give time back, that's when it earns trust. Let's lock in a few concepts before we wrap up this Friday. Your tech snack of the week for embodied AI. What this means: artificial intelligence that operates through physical systems like robotics. Now, why does this matter? Once AI has a body, it interacts with labor markets, logistics systems, and daily life physically, not just digitally. What about these on device inferences? Well, that is a running AI model locally instead of sending requests to the cloud. Why does this matter? Well, privacy will improve, speed increases, and control now decentralizes. Let's talk about regulatory sandboxing. That's controlled environments where AI systems are tested under oversight before wide release, which would be fantastic. Now, why does it matter? Well, innovation continues, but we're using guardrails. And our last snack by the week is for sentiment optimization. This is systems adjusting behavior based on real time emotional analysis of audiences. Why does this matter? Well, reputation, persuasion, and public narratives are now becoming algorithmically reactive. You're smarter now, and you didn't even need a white paper. So here's what the week really showed us: AI is gaining physical bodies, AI is facing governance, AI is becoming more local. That's not just product evolution, that's ecosystem evolution. And ecosystems shift civilizations quietly. The real question isn't whether AI is advancing, it's whether we are advancing alongside it. Are we building literacy? Are we asking sharper questions? Are we participating in shaping the frameworks being built all around us? Because AI is not just a tool anymore. No, it's infrastructure. And infrastructure rewires society before most people even notice. If this show helps you notice, well, why don't you go ahead and share it? Send it to a colleague, bring it to your classroom, discuss it in your leadership meetings, forward it to someone who thinks AI is just a chatbot. We don't need panic, we need awareness. And awareness spreads through open conversations. So subscribe, leave a review, be part of the thinking class in a world increasingly run by machines. So next week, we're going to dive into many more things happening starting, well, tomorrow. So until then, this has been your tour guide, JR. And this is your whirlwind replay of embodied intelligence, regulatory gravity, and silicone ambition for this Friday download. So stay curious, my friends.